I'll tell you a story, but the first thing you have to understand is time doesn't work the way you think it does. Fun fact, actually, I recently saw something on the Book of Faces that I have handy. Please tell me I have it handy. Okay, I have it in a second. Uh, oh, my prep. I failed my prep. I'm so sorry. Anyway, time doesn't work the way you think it does. Welcome to the cult. You can call me Oracle, because I'm the one who's talking to you. Some ways people have viewed how time works. Time is absolute. Isaac Newton. Time is relative. Albert Einstein. Time was invented by clock companies to sell more clocks. Karl Marx. Time is an illusion. Lunchtime doubly so. Word prefect. And that is actually literally the correct Buddhist cosmological view of it. Time is an illusion. It's a very functional illusion in point of fact. It's an illusion that's supposed to function, in my opinion. Anyway. Cannot run out of time. There is infinite time. You are finite. Zathras. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting time after time. Cyndi Lauper. There is no time to argue about time. We don't have the time. Deanna Troy. People assume that time is a strict progression from cause and to effect, but actually from a nonlinear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big mess of wibbly-wobbly, timely-wimey stuff. That's actually referring to, believe it or not, actually referring to space-time, and specifically its effects as related to gravity wells, because outside of a gravity well, like Earth, like parijnana, time is way more fluid, wibbly wobbly, and prone to generating spontaneously and then disintegrating equally spontaneously matter in hard vacuum. Because that's literally how hard vacuum works, first of all. Like, it is literally so empty, it forces stuff to exist. I can't make that up. I can't make that up. Second. Oh, interesting fact. You know what is interested in body or resurrection? Strictly speaking, science backs up resurrection being not only like a possibility, but a probability, and I'll tell you why. Because there's this very basic thing in physics called the law of conservation of mass, which basically means there is only so much mass that exists in the universe. Now that's the thing. Like, dark matter is essentially mass that we can't find. So, as far as I'm aware, like I was talking about with a vacuum earlier, when matter spontaneously appears in it and then disappears, it comes from and then goes back into the dark matter, as near as I can tell. And part of the reason it happens that way is because it happens in the hard vacuum of space, where there isn't anything and there is essentially emptiness to be filled, like in a non like in a non-philosophical sense, like in an actual literal physical akasa space sense. Like, it's so empty it causes, like, it Adikarana first causes matter to just appear and then disappear to relieve its own pressure, I guess. I don't even know. But but essentially, like, the whole core notion of like 28 grams of like difference between like the soul being in the body versus being like not there anymore when the body dies, that whole core concept actually can be backed up scientifically by the core notion of um, energistic reaction mass going off inside of the body to keep it alive, essentially. To think, therefore, it is. The second part is by the law of conservation of mass and energy. Energy, mass is energy at a very specific state of slow, like very slow vibration. Um, and to that point, essentially, what distinguishes a body between being alive and being dead is essentially a change in energistic states, which means essentially the soul has to exist because that energy didn't just disappear. Because, like, if you buy into the core concept of an Atman, of a soul, it is raw energy. It just is. It just is. It just is. Like, it just is. Like, it's the raw stuff of consciousness, essentially. That's what a soul is. It's what let you be you. What you want to call it, like Sva or ego or whatever. Or like it's essentially called Geodis. Like when it's perceived as intelligence. And also like the ability to perceive light and stuff like that and intelligence and whatnot. But like it's energy. It's all energy. Your brain is your Mestiska is still generating energy. More like, well, more specifically, it's converting it from glucose and stuff like that, ATP. But that's getting more into like the Krebs cycle and stuff. But anyway, my point is, since the soul is essentially energy that will not go away, like if it goes away, if it just seems to disappear, it's just going somewhere else. It's going to the Harmya or it's going to the Yamasadana. It's going to some place that we normally cannot perceive. Thus, seems to be gone. By that, but by that logic, and it is like, it is actually like a philosophical point. I'm not saying it's not. That is the fundamental like mula root of the philosophy that death is an illusion, because essentially, by that logic, it's an illusion of the soul not being there at all, but really just being in Yamasadana, like in the nether of the dead. It's still there, chilling, doing whatever Atman do in Yamasadana, probably predicated by their karma. It's just like that's just like you know that's just like Prananja Mom, reincarnation 101. But like, and then when it's ready to be born again, it goes into the Harmya, and then like whoops, avatars into an incarnation. Probably visits the body. From actual Christian theology, the soul, the Atman, in theory, descends or avatars into the incarnation, um, like on the third breath. But I'm like, I don't know how. Like, I don't buy into that personally. Like, much respect to the beliefs of like Christians, but like, I'm of the opinion that the Atman probably like shows up sometime, you know, sometime during the pregnancy. When? I don't know. Probably like around the time it's incredibly unethical to get an abortion. It would be my best guess, but like to the point where they're like, it's more than just like a heartbeat. It's like the brain is developed. They're like getting ready to be born. I mean, like they're probably getting used to their avatar. Probably where kicking comes from. Is them getting used to having Taga again. I mean, that's just my guess, but anyway. Um, I'm distracted by that whole like video, but behind like the potty being technically possible. But all right, what else? This is Oracle, gonna sing myself out. Talk to you later everywhere out the throughout. Try to make sure if you cough to put a mukchata face covering. And I'm not talking if you just think it's COVID or something. Like, that's actually good safety for being sick in general. And if, like, you're one of those people who's like, I can't breathe because of the masks, uh, see a doctor. You probably have a lung problem if you actually can't breathe with a mask. I'm not joking. Like, if you actually can't breathe with a mask on, chances are, one, I'm not joking, um, you could be having panic attacks. That is literally a huge problem for people who feel like their breathing is being restricted, and then their body psychosomatically makes it so. It happens. It does. It's actually documented very well. The other thing is, if it's actually a physical problem, you might have a lung problem, and I'm not joking. Those masks are specifically designed for people to have to wear them hours on end without any aerobic restriction. They're designed for that. So if they are actually restricting your breathing, I'm not joking. You should get your lungs checked because you might have a lung problem. I'm not trying to like judgmental on you because you like think coronavirus is a bunch of BS. No, I'm trying to be informative for you. Regardless of your opinion on coronavirus, if a mask is literally making you not breathe, then it's either psychosomatic or there is a problem with your lungs that you should get looked at. I ain't fronting. Anyway, drink safely, everyone. Have a good one.